What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Sunday, December 30th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay, let's see who we have at the point guard position. I like Brandon Ingram from the LA Lakers playing the Sacramento Kings, who are the second worst defense overall and give up the fourth most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Brandon Ingram has scored 26, 33, and 19 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 25.8 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 31 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. Brandon Ingram is $5,900 DraftKings salary. He's $900 more on FanDuel. I love that DraftKings price. Projected at 31.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.3 times value. There's an implied total of 232.5 points in this game. No LeBron James. More usage for the rest of the crew. I've been waiting for Brandon Ingram to get hot. I think it's going to be tonight versus a bad Sacramento Kings defense. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. And then you can see the top point production, who scored the most fantasy points in the last 3 games, minute monsters, see who played the most minutes in the last 3 games, and the recent performance, so you can see who's overperforming and maybe due to crash, and you can see who's underperforming and maybe due to smash. Okay, let's see who we have at the shooting guard position. I like Iman Shumpert from the Sacramento Kings playing the LA Lakers, who are the 9th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Iman Shumpert has scored 43, 15, and 19 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 19.4 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 25 minutes per game with a 15% usage rate. Iman Shumpert is $4,300 DraftKings salary, $600 less on FanDuel, so I think he's an okay FanDuel punt play. Low salary drop over there on FanDuel, so if he misses, admin salary not going to hurt you. Iman Shumpert scored 43 fantasy points versus the LA Lakers last game. That's the only reason I'm making this pick. I'm kind of chasing the last game's fantasy points, but there is an implied total of 232.5 points in this game. If Iman Shumpert gets anywhere near 25 to 30 minutes, he could hit value in just 20 fantasy points and has that 40-point upside, which we saw last game. Risky play here, I'd say FanDuel only. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, moving on to the small forward position. I like Justice Winslow from the Miami Heat playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the 11th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Justice Winslow has scored 53, 33, and 46 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 26.2 fantasy points per game on the season in an average of 29 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. All those numbers are way up as he's taken on a bigger role and a bigger responsibility for the Miami Heat. Justice Winslow is $6,500 DraftKings salary. He's $100 less on FanDuel. I think the projected points are off here because they're looking at the season average. But if you look at the last 3 games, you can see how his involvement has increased, and I don't think it's going down. And I'm projecting him at about 35 fantasy points here tonight, which should be about 5 times value. And he's got that 50-point upside. I like Justice Winslow versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, let's see who we have at the power forward position. I like Kyle Kuzma from the LA Lakers playing the Sacramento Kings, who have the second worst defense overall and give up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Kyle Kuzma has scored 40, 48, and 29 fantasy points in his last 3 games, averaging 31.8 fantasy points per game on the season and an average of 33 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. Kyle Kuzma has played 41 and 40 minutes the last 2 games without LeBron James, scoring over 40 fantasy points in both those games. Kyle Kuzma is $7,700 DraftKings salary, $500 less on FanDuel. So he's a lock for me over there on FanDuel. Kyle Kuzma is projected at 33.5 fantasy points here tonight. He's going to need about 37 fantasy points to hit 5 times value. This is a great spot for Kyle Kuzma, who's going to get plenty of minutes, tons of usage, and he's got 40-50 point upside, especially without LeBron James on the court. I love Kyle Kuzma here versus the Sacramento Kings. Okay, let's see who we have at the center position. I like Serge Ibaka from the Toronto Raptors playing the Chicago Bulls, who have the 8th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing centers. Serge Ibaka has scored 39 and 18 fantasy points in his last 2 games back from injury, averaging 31.3 fantasy points per game on the season and an average of 28 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. Serge Ibaka is $5,700 DraftKings salary. He's $1,000 more on FanDuel, so I love that DraftKings price. Projected at 29.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's over 5 times value. Great matchup in a high-paced game for Serge Ibaka versus a terrible Chicago Bulls defense. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.